Ah, that always puts me in the mood to go cruising every time I hear that music. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cruise Chat Live. I'm so excited to welcome back DCL Duo. Hi, guys.
Hi, Walter. So good to see you. We're so happy to be back. I love your opening video, and I recognize the Aqua 80 show from the Oasis of the Seas in your video.
See? A little ice skating, too. Did you go ice skating?
We did go ice skating. Actually, myself and our son. Brian didn't go ice skating, but we did.
Walls were climbed. Ice was laser tag. Yeah.
We did watch. We even went to see the ice skating show, too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, folks, welcome to Cruise Chat Live. If you're new to the channel, I am Walter, your independent travel advisor with Where's Walter Travel. We handle cruise, luxury, land expedition. So if there's anything we can do to help with your cruises, just reach out, where'swaltertravel.com. There are links in the description down below. And we're very fortunate tonight to have DCL Duo, who have been covering all things Disney for I don't know how long. So I'll let you guys figure it out. Why don't you tell everybody what you all do?
So we have a twice weekly podcast. We do a live show every week. We cover primarily Disney Cruise Line, but we also love to cover other cruise lines and compare them to Disney. So we love to get people who've been on Disney Cruise Line, who sail on Virgin, Celebrity, Royal, you name it, come on and tell us what the experience is like for Disney, because we think that, our offering out to the community is try to keep it positive. We try to keep it balanced. And we also try to let people know that Disney necessarily isn't the right cruise line for everybody out there. We love it, but
although
it's
most
good
people.
To know.
Most people.
But it's good to know what else is out there, because Disney is an expensive proposition these days. So you can find us DCL Duo everywhere that we are, except for Instagram, where I'm still trying to find the person who has the name DCL Duo who's not using it, so that we can
We're
we can get it.
DCL underscore
Don't you hate
Duo.
that?
Yeah.
I hate that.
We also cover a lot of Adventures by Disney
Yes.
experiences as well, both land and river cruising. We've also
Nice.
done some comparison in other river cruising offerings to large ship cruising as well, because we know
Nice.
that that's something that people who like to cruise tend to be interested in, and certainly
Yeah.
the Disney brand attachment to Adventures by Disney kind of is, I think, that gateway drug if you have it.
And the tagline for our show is Disney Cruising Elevated, because a lot of times too we love to get like really unique, special, once in a lifetime experiences that, you know, we may not even be able to do ourselves, but we want to bring those to you. So we've actually been covering the World Cruise in segments with two of the cruisers who are on there, and Royal's Starlink is fast enough for us to do video podcasts with them. So
amazing.
we've been
Yeah.
doing that too. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, folks, if you want to know anything about Disney Cruise Line, you guys are actually my reference. I'll go look at your blogs, your vlogs, and look up stuff myself. You really do a great service. And I love the one thing you said, you keep it positive. That's what I try to do here as well, because there's so much negativity out there in social. It's nice to carve a little positive space in the world.
Definitely. And that doesn't mean that we always say Disney's doing things right. We compliment Disney when they're doing things right, and we offer constructive, balanced feedback when we think there's room for improvement, let's say.
Absolutely. And first,
I don't.
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I fundamentally don't understand the like people who are like, I'm going to burn this place to the ground, but I'm going on that cruise next week. Like I don't. It's your vacation dollar. You get to choose where to spend it. So yeah.
And I'm also going to give a shout out. I see Eric is here, Tara's here, Sue's here, Aaron, Sue, Benny. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing? If you want to ask some questions, by all means, drop them into the comments. We'll do our best. I'm going to start off with, you already said Disney is an expensive proposition. So why Disney? I mean, why are you so loyal to Disney, and why do you keep going on them?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
Okay. I will say I'm going to give you 3 S's: service, shows, and sentimentality. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to give you a 4th one: storytelling. Yeah, I got to give you storytelling also. Okay. So yeah, Disney is, we think, number 1 in service in the cruise line industry. Or there are maybe some other cruise lines who tie, but I'm not sure anyone that's really above Disney in service overall. There are obviously individuals who I'm sure are great on other cruise lines as well.
Right.
And then, the storytelling of Disney is, of course, below none. I mean, they do the best storytelling in their, not just in their shows. I mentioned shows, but not just in their shows, but even in their spaces, right? So the way that from the ship's design to, rotational dining restaurant design, all of that kind of stuff, the storytelling weaves through the entire thing. And then sentimentality is, we are Disney fans, and who doesn't love to see Mickey and get a hug from him when you walk onto a ship? I mean, what's not to like about that? I mean, I don't know. Some people might find that weird. I don't.
Yeah.
Somebody might. What about you, Brian?
For me, it kind of goes back to, I mean, the service is a huge component for me.
Yeah.
But for me to be honest, so we've sailed Disney Adults Only, and it's fantastic. But for me, it's all about our son. He is on the autism spectrum, and he's doing great. But early in childhood, he was a lot of work for us as parents, and to be able to go to a place like even the parks, but especially the cruise line that was sort of accepting of children and not judgmental about them.
Right.
And the cast members would lean in to help us with things. There's a story I like to tell about a night that we were at dinner, and our son was, he was overtired. It was late. He wasn't paying attention, and he knocked an ice bucket over accidentally with his leg, and it fell right on top of this guy's camera with a flash on top of it. And within a split second, serving teams came out of serving teams came out of nowhere. We were horrified. Their serving team was handling them. Our serving team, and our server was like, "Don't give it another thought. Mickey will make it right. This is your vacation. We'll take care of it." And sure enough, I saw their serving team was over there with a slip, taking it from. I'm sure that person got fully compensated for their camera. our son wasn't made to feel embarrassed or put out. Like I did go over afterwards and sort of say, I'm really sorry about that. And to their credit, the person was like, no big deal. Like it's fine. Right. But
Yeah.
I really credit that as like a moment for me where I was like, I'm not sure that every cruise line would treat that moment in that kind of way. So yeah.
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 That's a great example.
I have another example actually that I got COVID on one of the Disney ships on the Disney Wonder on the last day. I tested positive on the cruise, like so a full day, and I got quarantined. I was sent to a different cabin on deck 2. It was not my preferred cabin, I'll put it that way. And we happened to be sailing out of San Diego. We live on the West Coast, but we live in the Seattle area, and so we couldn't fly back. This was when the CDC regulations were quite tight. Right. This was in 2021. And we had to drive all the way back to Seattle, 2 days time, have to get a hotel room, gas, food, all of that.
Wow.
And Disney compensated us for all of our travel back home.
Wow.
Yeah, including the hotel. And they even refunded part of the cruise because it was clear that I had gotten COVID on board. It was,
wow.
So there's, things that the service extends to customer care even on the back end.
But can I highlight not just what they did for you after? The thing that's distinguished it from you is
I know what you're
we were
say.
5 minutes off the ship in a car on the way to the airport to get the rental car to drive ourselves home, and someone was calling her from Disney corporate in Florida on a Sunday to say, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How can we help you?
Right.
Like, don't worry about anything. We've got you covered. When you get home, call us. And they checked in on her every day to make sure that she was
And it was, to be fair, we had to like outlay the money and then we got reimbursed, but we got reimbursed for everything. Yeah. It was really handled well. So
that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's probably the best customer care story I've heard.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's about the customer service on board. You're absolutely right. I mean, we've been on 10 different cruise lines. And, the only one that really comes close for me, there's 2, Oceania and Princess, the way their services are. But there is something about that Disney service that, like you said, something happened and immediately 3 people pop out of nowhere. It's like, where'd they come from? Yeah. And they're on it.
I'll tell you, those stateroom attendants on Disney are like ninjas too. Like they're always there. Like you walk out in the hallway and they're like, "Oh, are you leaving your room? Let me go in and do something."
So true. Yeah.
Yes, and those staterooms are lovely too because they're generally bigger than what we're used to on the other cruise lines, and you have that split bathroom, which is lovely.
Yeah,
Yes.
well,
Absolutely
and made to accommodate 5 in a lot of the stateroom categories, which honestly, the cruise lines it's hard to find. There's some, but it's hard to find those that accommodate 5.
Right.
So
Yeah, we just learned the other day, or at least I learned the other day, that if you're sailing on Royal and you're sailing with 5, not on Icon, I think Icon you can, but you actually have to call and they'll tell you what's available. You can't do it online. Yeah. Whereas with Disney, you can put in 5 people and it'll just show you what's available. So
we can't even put in 5 people. We can put in 4, and then I have to call Royal Caribbean to add the 5th person.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's silly.
I mean,
like
we're only a family of 3, so it doesn't affect us. But we hear from our listeners and who are families of 5.
But it extended to us with our adventure. We did an Adventures by Disney river cruise over in Europe, and most of the river cruise lines, are like 2 people per cabin, even in like suites. And Waterways, in the partnership with Disney, we had an additional bed in our cabin for our son, so we only had to get 1 stateroom, which for us that was huge to try river cruising and not have to get 2 staterooms. So
yeah. That's really good. That is really, really good. But you guys, by the way, is there a name? I asked you that in the question. Is there like a nickname? Because like Royal Caribbean is loyal to Royal. Is there a name for Disney people?
I refer to them as like DCL obsessed, but generally no, there's not a catchphrase like a loyal to Royal. There's not something that
I think you're going to have to work on that through your podcast.
We'll work on it, Walter. I like your idea, and we'll work on it.
Yes.
See, it seems like you've been on for multiple years, and you still haven't come up with this. So there you go. Right. Next time we talk, I want to know what the name is. So I have noticed, though, that you guys have started to get a little bit more critical of Disney and not Disney service or anything like that. But is that value proposition still there? Because they are expensive. I know, Sam, you've gone out on Royal Caribbean. You've obviously gotten value through the years or you wouldn't keep going on them.
Absolutely.
But what's starting to drive some of this? Now you're starting to look a little bit more critically at Disney and comparing them to everybody else.
I think it's just the increase in cost. Brian has crunched the numbers quite a bit more than I have, to be perfectly honest, because he's the planner in the family. So, but I think the issue is that Disney seems to be increasing at a higher rate than its competitors. And so it seems, they're just increasing more than our salaries are increasing. Let's put it bluntly.
Yeah, I mean, I can give some. I'd also add into the mix. Our son is getting older, and so he's a little bit more comfortable doing different kinds of activities, and so he loves Royal Caribbean and the Flow Rider and the rock climbing wall and Perfect Day at Coco. He loves that stuff.
Right.
I would say. So in the value proposition, there's, I think, two dimensions to this. One is just the sheer price. Like with the Treasure coming out, the pricing has really gone through the roof. Especially we like to sail in concierge. We like to sail in the suite class on Royal. And so to put a fine point on it, we had a cruise booked this past April over spring break with Disney on the Fantasy. So not even one of their newest ships in concierge, and what Disney has a 1-bedroom category in concierge. I just, on a whim, I went out and searched the Royal site, and I looked at the Oasis of the Seas, same itinerary, same week, and it was half the cost. The base fare was half the cost for a Crown Loft suite, which is about as close as you'll get to the 1-bedroom category on Disney.
Sure.
Half the cost. I recently, we came back, we did the trip report. I took every dime of expense that we had from the cruise fare and everything on board the cruise. A cabana we booked, every expense, the drink package, all that stuff. Everything but airfare and hotel and food on the shoulders of it, right? It still came in like $2,000 to $3,000, maybe even $4,000 less than the Disney base fare. So, so I was like, that's hard to pass up. And so we kind of came to the conclusion on our show, like, if Disney is a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 of price to quality, for us, Royal is like a 5 on the scale of price or a 6 on the scale of price, but it's by no means a 6 on the scale of quality. It's like closer to an 8 or a 9. And I would also say the second dimension of this is there are just places where, look, Royal's doing it better, right? I mean, like the suite offering on Royal, I think, is much more comprehensive than anything Disney has right now. Disney's really just sort of, they're kind of staying the same. And sort of like, I'm staying the same and that's okay. And it's like, but you can't keep inching the price up and not improving the offering, especially at the rate that they're doing, and then, they innovated with rotational dining, but now a bunch of other cruise lines are kind of passing them by with other innovations of that kind of a concept with no main dining, all especially restaurants. Right. So I think we're critical of Disney around the value proposition insofar as, look, there's some cruises out there that we think will get you pretty close to the kind of experience you would get on Disney Cruise Line for less the price. Now, you want characters, you want Broadway style theater shows of Disney caliber quality, you want to go to Castaway Cay, you want a smaller ship experience because Disney ships for the most part are smaller than are going to be smaller than Oasis class for sure. Then you're going to have to look at Disney. But like, we're just trying to be honest with our audience that, hey, this is starting to impact our decision making a little bit in terms of price, and we've got more elasticity in our budget than a lot of other cruisers do. And so, if you're worried you're going to go on Royal and have a terrible experience, I'm just here to tell you that's just not the case. You're going to have a fun experience. Will it be Disney? No. In some places it'll be better. In some places it won't be. Royal main dining, not my favorite. Disney kind of kills it in main dining, but that doesn't mean you can't go to one of the number of specialty restaurants on Royal and have a great meal. So,
Right.
But don't get it twisted. We're not changing our name to the RCCL Duo or anything like that anytime soon.
Not going to be loyal to Royal Duo?
No, we're not going to be the loyal to Royal Duo. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I hope there's one out there. But Disney still has our hearts and still is our favorite, and still on all of the things we talked about at the beginning of the show, I still comes out number one. It just doesn't come out number one on price, and price is a big consideration for a lot of cruisers, and it's a big consideration for us too.
Well, I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more example that just blows my mind. We're trying some other cruise lines over the course of the next couple of years, just because I want to be able to talk credibly about what the experience is like from my perspective. And so I went looking. We like to cruise over Thanksgiving. It's one of our favorite things to do because there's no cleanup. There's no going from house to house.
No cooking.
It's great.
Just on a cruise ship.
No pressure.
And warm weather, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So every other year we go on a Thanksgiving cruise, and the off years we tend to go visit one of our families. And so I went out looking for our Thanksgiving cruise for next year, and I priced Disney. And, it clocked in at, I'll just be honest, it clocked in at about $20,000 for the cruise that we wanted to do.
Okay.
I heard about Princess. So I went over to Princess's website. We're booked on their newest ship that's not even out yet. It'll come out next year in August
Star
or
Princess.
September, I think it was. Star Princess. We're booked in the second, the penultimate suite, right? The one right below the highest level of suite. We have whatever the add-on is, the full-on, everything's included add-on.
Yep.
For 3 people, it's half the price of Disney. And I'm like, how can I not be curious about that? And then I've started watching videos of walkthroughs of the Sun Princess, and I'm like, this ship actually looks kind of amazing. I'm excited to give this a shot,
it looks
right?
Really cool.
So I think Disney is coming under increasing pressure from cruise lines who've traditionally not been in their market space.
Yeah.
We're now trying to cater to families. And they're going to have to figure this out, and raising the price isn't the answer. That's my kind of stock and trade right now. So, yeah.
No. And Princess is actually an excellent cruise line for families. They have been all along. They don't have all the top deck activities and things, but they've had an outstanding children's club for many years. And now, of course, the Sun and the Star are adding that, some of the top deck activities up there, which is fabulous because honestly, if you've ever been up to those spaces on a Princess ship, that's just dead space. They just kind of throw a bunch of loungers out there. So I was really happy to see that. And, what they're innovating with the theater, the 360 theater, 270 theater, proscenium theater, depending on how they want to configure it. I wish you guys could come in October. We're going to be on the Sun in October out of Fort Lauderdale.
Nice.
Wow,
But,
awesome.
but yeah, you're right. I mean, how do you, I'm going to be very, very curious when you go on that because they do actually have a very good main dining experience. They have what I think is the best buffet experience outside of Disney. I'm going to be really interested to hear what you guys think about that. I think you're really, really going to enjoy that. And how can you argue with half the price?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
amazing.
think we're always going to have a Disney cruise booked. That's the way I would look at it. But
we might have something else booked too.
Yeah, some of these other times we're going to try Virgin for the first time this year, which I will say I have moved from excited to a bit nervous.
The
narrative
Don't be
around
nervous.
Virgin
I'm
has
not nervous.
shifted.
Don't be nervous.
I'm not nervous.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
I understand Brian is a little nervous, but I'm not nervous. I'll be honest.
What are
I'm
you
excited.
nervous about? Okay, we're just going to jump ahead to Virgin. We're going to talk about that later. But what are you nervous about?
So I think the very early reviews of Virgin, if I reach all the way back to the first ship, were like, "Oh my God, this ship was designed by someone who has never seen."
Oh, forget about that. This is like 4 years now.
No, yeah, but now we fast forward, and I saw a slew of just like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." We've heard it described as Disney, Disney Cruise Line for adults because they got a lot of Disney's personnel. Heard amazing things from many people, and now I've just started to notice the narrative is like creeping back into the space around like, this is not a good cruise line. And I'm like, why? Why are you saying that? Because I think there is a part of it where people are like, this doesn't feel like a traditional cruise line. I'm like, well, that's kind of what they're going for. So I'm not going to fault them for that. But if you're telling me like the food, the service, the cabins, like that kind of stuff isn't on par, then I have some questions. So
first of all, which cabin do you have?
Oh, we're doing like a mega rockstar cabin because our travel agent talked us into it. And,
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
So we'll be
She's
taken
a big
well
fan
taken
of
care
Virgin
of.
like you, Walter.
Yeah.
So if it were me, I would have picked the Cheeky Corner Suite, which is a Rockstar suite. I think that is the best cabin. When you look at the back of the ship, there's only 3 suites across the back on every single deck. The Cheeky Corner has the wraparound balconies and then the suite aft suite in the middle. So that suite aft suite to me is the best cabin on the entire ship. You're actually, the reason why I ask is you're going to have the comfortable beds. So one of the knocks, and we knock them for this too, the beds are not the most comfortable thing in the world. They're kind of IKEA-ish, but the ones in the suite, those are real beds. Those are really nice and comfortable. You're going to have a beautiful bathroom in there. You're going to have your Rockstar agent, which is great. So you're going to be taken care of. But what's really different about Virgin versus everybody else, that suite experience isn't elevated as much as you might expect on other cruise lines because everything's included. Right. So like you don't have your own restaurant.
Everything's elevated already. Yeah.
Everything is, and what you really get is you get Richard's Rooftop, which is yours. That's the sun deck, the bar, and all of that. And I think there's some people who are turned off by that. And well, wait a minute, I paid all this money. It's like, yeah, you paid all this money. You got the beautiful room. You got your own bar. That to me is the best part. Is the bar. You can make your own cocktails. You got a cocktail set, glasses, all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think what has happened with Virgin is it has been so hyped up, like, oh my God, the most amazing thing. And then people come on and maybe they have an unrealistic expectation
Mhm.
of, because it's still, the restaurants are going to be off certain nights. Like we used to love the Wake, and now we don't go to the Wake anymore because we don't find it the best experience. And that's their steakhouse.
Gotcha.
For us, Razzle Dazzle, Pink Agave, and Extra Virgin, those are like the 3 restaurants that we really enjoy. I think, first time I went on the ship, somebody described a summer camp for adults, and I think that's really.
Oh, I love that. But summer
What
camp
it
is
is.
what you make of it too, right?
Exactly.
So like that's I think that's a lot of how cruisers need to look at whatever new cruise experience they go on, though. Because if
Yeah.
you have an expectation of, oh, it's going to be this awesome party. Well, it's only going to be this awesome party if you join the party, right?
Right.
Like if you
Right.
stay in your room the whole time, or
Right.
then you're not part of the
Yeah.
party, and so maybe you'll feel like
No.
not a part of it. So I
Yeah.
think that's some of it is you have to put yourself out there to be involved in the activities.
Gotta.
Go to the Zumba class or whatever they're doing.
Oh, the 80s
or
workout
not.
class. I want video of Brian doing the 80s workout class. That
I'm
is the
gonna tell
Richard
you-
Simmons
I'm gonna tell
with
you
the
he's not
shake
gonna,
weights.
I'm telling you he's not going to go to it, but I'll
Oh,
go to
okay.
it.
No, hey, no, look, I'll do it.
You'll do
I'll
it.
do it. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get some of those socks that go up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And the
The headband?
headbands. Yeah.
There you go, headband.
And some short shorts, maybe.
Got to do it.
Not
You can
short
always tell
shorts.
who's going to it because you can see them like in the galley having
outfits?
breakfast and they're all dressed up.
Oh my god, I love it. I want to do the shake weight. The shake weight looks really fun.
Yeah, it's in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then there's a 90s boy band dance class too. So
I will be there. I will be all bye. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to try out for that dance troupe in New Orleans for
He
Mardi
did.
Gras. So
He
I was
kinda
Oh
thinking
did.
my
of
God.
He never
Yeah.
did, but he wanted to. But
Oh
that's
my God.
about it. That's about as far as Brian goes with dancing, though, is wanting to.
I love it. I love it. So and the big thing about Virgin is come as you are. There's literally no dress code at all. The shows are a little weird. You may like them, you may not like them, but my biggest advice is go check out On the Rocks every single night. That's a whiskey bar. I don't know where they find these bands, but they have amazing musicians that play in On the Rocks every single
Oh,
night.
I love that.
Fabulous.
I love that. And I will tell you,
Fabulous.
I love a good drag queen, and I hear they're present on Virgin, so I will be there. Yeah.
If you have a woman named Carlos, we've had her 3 times. In fact, we accidentally had dinner with Carlos. We didn't know, she was her alter ego at the time we were having dinner.
Oh my
We had
God,
this
I
whole
love it.
conversation. And then the moment she started to sing in her cabaret show, I'm like, oh my God, we had dinner with Carlos. And then we went up for a hug afterward. He's like, was that okay? Did I fool you? I'm like, yes, you totally fooled me.
fooled me. Oh my God, I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Well, since you're on Virgin, Aaron's about ready to go on Virgin Voyages in June for the first time. Just asking
Ooh,
me,
we
why do I like to wait
yeah.
for brunch instead of dinner, and which venue has the bacon? Okay, we'll start with the bacon. That Razzle Dazzle has a spicy
Oh.
bacon.
Ooh.
It got
That's
like
what
this
Brian's
kick
on.
to it. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's really spicy. It's really, really good. I don't think the Wake restaurant has the best service and the best steak at night, to be honest with you, even though it's a steakhouse. I've gotten better steak at Extra Virgin and Razzle Dazzle than I have in the Wake. And I think the Wake is unnecessarily a long dinner. It takes a while.
I
that
love
dinner.
the name Extra Virgin. That's the name of a restaurant on board. That's awesome.
That's the Italian restaurant.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah. It's really good. And they make their own pasta and all of
Nice.
that. So
Awesome.
So that's why I like the Wake. The Wake for brunch is really good, but for dinner, it's not my favorite on the ship. Emily, oh my God, Emily is tuning in from England right now. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Hi, Emily, all the way across the pond.
Yeah, so she's coming in June. She's going on a Virgin Voyages ship, but she's coming here to Orlando first to spend a couple days at the Pop Century Resort and go to Disney.
Fun. Awesome.
I feel like the folks we've talked to a few folks from the UK who've come over to do Disney cruises, and I feel like for them, you got to make it a 2-week trip to come over here and
You
spend some
gotta.
time and then do the cruise. And
Especially with
so
the
far.
time difference and all of that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got any tips for Emily? Have you've been to Disney World, right?
Oh, of
yes.
course.
Yes.
Tron is awesome. And
yeah, you got to ride Tron, you got to ride Cosmic Rewind. Those are the two
Guardians
newest
of the
rides
Galaxy,
in the park.
Cosmic Rewind at Epcot is
And they're
fantastic.
amazing.
Tron is at Magic Kingdom. Those two, even if you have to pay for like individual lightning lanes, those are such fabulous rides. And watch some videos about Genie Plus because
I still don't understand it.
we're not experts. We're not Walt Disney World experts. I'll just put that out there. But like watch videos on it because it's kind of complicated, and there are like some people who've done the math to figure out when it's worth like using and when it's not worth using, like which parks you should use it for and which ones you shouldn't use it for.
I'm telling you, people ask us, and I'm like, look, we're annual pass holders. I have no freaking clue.
Yeah.
Here's a couple of vloggers. Watch them.
That is exactly what I tell people. Like, go to the experts. Like,
I
send
keep
people to Rope Drop Radio because they're a great podcast for Disney World.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of vloggers, YouTubers who also will give you like step-by-step instructions. Of that
I
stuff.
cruise because I don't want that level of complexity in my vacation, and I just pray that whoever is like overseeing the parks doesn't like cast their shadow over to cruise line at some point and be like, what if we added fast passes for character meets, that sort of thing. I would be like, oh, for the love of God, please.
That would be the worst. I mean, it's funny how many people that come to me and want to book a Walt Disney World vacation. I'm like, are you sure you wouldn't rather go on a Disney cruise instead? It's a lot more relaxing. And you get that FaceTime. The thing about Disney World is you don't get FaceTime with the characters, right?
Yeah.
You're in line, get the picture, move on.
Yeah, it's very fast. It's
whereas
a long
on the
wait and
ship,
it's fast. Yeah, you get a
you
lot
run
more.
into them all the time, right? You can actually hang
Yes.
out with them.
Yeah.
And it's a more, if you like all inclusives, right? Like it's not that not everything is included. Like alcohol is one example on Disney, not included. But it's much more all-inclusive and value-wise. Actually, when you compare, we were looking at this, comparing a Walt Disney World vacation to a Disney Cruise Line vacation. All in, you might actually save money with a Disney cruise, especially
100%.
if you're like eat a lot. And I'm not saying
the calculus is if you stay at deluxe resorts and you tend to have sit-down dinners, then you're quickly getting to the price of a Disney cruise where hotel and dinner is included, right? So and the food is good on main dining on Disney. So yeah.
Wow.
And if you have kids older than age 9, you're paying adult prices for their food. Yeah.
I'm a kid over age 9.
Over age
for
9,
sure.
exactly. Yeah.
People are like, "Do you have kids?" And my wife's like, "I've got him. What do I need that kid for?"
Sam's got me.
That's right. I've got 2 kids. I've got Nathan and Brian. And they're both over 9 now. But one's only 1 year over 9.
She told a friend one time as an excuse to like go. She's like, "I got to get him fed." And I was like, "Am I 9? I can get my own food."
I'll tell you, and Emily, I can't wait for you to go to Disney World too. We're hopefully going to meet up with Emily over at the park too. I'll tell you the story that embarrassed the heck out of my wife. We were there, I want to say 10 years ago or so. And Buzz and Woody were over there, and Rebecca's like, "Oh, Buzz and Woody, you want to go?" I'm like, I got their picture taken. And then she goes, "Oh, look, here comes Bullseye and Jesse." I stopped. I ran. I'm like running past the kids. I'm like, just Bullseye, just running.
Bullseye, seriously.
And then I slipped and like slid right into him, and he just like conked me on the head with his little, And my wife is like,
He's like, I don't know him. I would be just like you, Walt. I would be running for Bullseye as well.
Right. The one that you never see. It's like, oh my God,
exactly.
Bullseye.
Unique characters that you don't see, or you either never see or don't see that often. I'm all about. Yeah, all about.
I know.
I'm going to point out, Aaron has the perfect question for us here.
Oh, I love this.
I do see that. First, I'm just going to remind everybody at the bottom of the hour, if you're new to the channel, please do like, share, subscribe to Where's Walter Travel. We are your independent travel advisor. We can help you with land, luxury, cruise expedition. And be sure to like, share, follow DCL Duo. They're on YouTube. They're pretty much all over social media. They are your source for all things Disney. So thankful to have you guys back on the show. I can't wait till we meet in real life.
I know.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
I'll
And-
be
and you
there.
guys-
I'll be there next month unexpectedly for some media events. So yeah, we're going on the Lighthouse Point media cruise, or I'm going on the Lighthouse Point media cruise. Sam sadly is taking one for the team because our son's not quite out of school yet,
Sam.
and she's
You're
gonna
letting
fly out
him
and meet
go?
me.
I am.
Wow, Sam. That's
Somebody's got to
amazing.
make sure our kid doesn't become a truant, okay?
People,
So
you don't
that's-
know. This is love. This is love, letting your spouse go on a Disney ship without you.
It absolutely is.
And then I'm going to be up in Orlando for the Tiana's media event. That's right.
Oh,
after the
please.
Lighthouse Point
Hey, let me
cruise.
know.
Yeah.
We're just 40 minutes away from the park.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now let's get on to Aaron's question here for Brian and Sam. The
This is
one,
so hard.
wow, the one best bite of food. So I do have an answer for that that you've had on Disney, but I'm going to let you guys go.
Okay.
I'll go first. I have it. I have it nailed. So we love the adult dining on Disney, and I think our favorite adult dining venue on Disney is Remy on the Fantasy and the Dream. And they had a dish one time when we were there. I don't know if it's still there, but it was poulet rouge. It was a brand of North Carolina chicken, and they had taken and separated the chicken from the skin and stuffed it with cornbread stuffing, and then cooked it. And
It was
I
really good.
take you just cut into it. It was so tender. You took one bite. I was like, I need like it was this tiny little portion, right? Because it's fine dining. You're like, can I just have like an entire plate of this for the rest of my meal, and you can skip everything else?
It was so good. It was so good.
delicious. It was
I'm
so
gonna pick
delicious.
I'm gonna pick something else, but
Wow.
I'm gonna cheat because I always do this. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna pick two because I have to pick a savory and a sweet. So I'm just sorry, Aaron. I'm
There's no
violating the
rules
rule.
here,
Yeah,
so-
exactly. Well, he said one, but so I'm gonna give you two. I'll give you a savory and a sweet. Okay, so the sweet bite that I love, Embarkation Day. It's only served on Embarkation Day. It's Oreo cheesecake. I'm a huge cheesecake lover, but I'm actually really, really picky about cheesecake. But
Okay.
this cheesecake is literally like the best dessert I've ever had, I think, in my entire life. And so I have it anytime it's
Wow.
Embarkation Day on a Disney cruise. I am eating that cheesecake.
I love it.
Yeah. And then my savory one is Palo Brunch. Palo is the other adult only dining
Yeah.
venue on all of the Disney ships, actually.
Yeah.
Whereas Remy only exists on the Dream and the Fantasy.
Right.
And at Palo Brunch, they have a chicken parmesan that's served over risotto. And it
Oh.
is a fantastic. I'm a chicken parmesan connoisseur, and it is a fantastic chicken parmesan. So
And I'm team lasagna with bechamel. So,
yeah, he does love it. He does love the lasagna there. You can't go wrong with almost anything at Palo Brunch.
Yeah.
There's nothing bad on the menu there, and so
No.
yeah. But I'm obsessed with that chicken parm, but I'm also obsessed with that Oreo cheesecake. So yeah, there's
Wow.
two. I can't pick between
Wow.
them. I'll take both at any time.
Yeah, for me, it was Remy on the Fantasy. And the whole
Yeah.
meal is kind of a blur. I remember they sat us in the wine room.
oh yeah,
Oh, I
It was
love
just
that.
the four of us. Yeah. But the thing I remember was the cheese cart. That's
the
the
cheese
thing I
cart.
remember.
It's a great
And
cheese cart.
I remember asking the woman, "Can you just roll that to my room? I'll just
Mhm.
take it. Sit out on the I could just sit out on the balcony with a glass of wine and the cheese cart."
See, and my second favorite thing about Remy is not a food item; it's the Colette that they start
The
the meal
drink.
with. It's a champagne cocktail that's complimentary, and it is just
It's
so
really good.
fabulous. We bought during the pandemic. We bought all the ingredients to make a Colette at home at Christmas
Really?
time. Oh yeah, I had to source these cassis pearls from this woman in Germany. We bought the Riedel stemware that they serve it in.
Wow.
We had to mix our own. I forget what it was. It was like a VS. It was a special brandy. It's a white brandy or something that you have to like mix. They
Wow.
don't make it anymore. And so like we made these cocktails at home based on the recipe. And I was like, it's just delicious. It's delicious.
It is. Yeah.
That's fun. So Eric making a comment along the lines of how much it costs. It would be his annual cruise budget that he uses for 2 cruises a year, all-inclusive top shelf. So what Eric does, it comes with the free of sea, but then he goes ahead and upgrades it to the full package and all of that. Have you guys done Norwegian yet?
We
have
have
not.
not. We
That's
are
when we
Norwegian curious.
Yes.
We are particularly curious about the Haven, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
'Cause
We
that-
were booked. We were actually booked on a Norwegian
Oh.
cruise out of Alaska, but I think it was like right in the
to
middle
Alaska.
to Alaska. Yeah, sorry, out of Seattle to Alaska. And I was super excited about it because we live in the Seattle area, and I never get to sail out of our home port.
Right.
But I think it was booked. I think it was during the pandemic.
Gotcha.
And so we had booked Norwegian in the Haven in an owner's suite to go to Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney announced a new slate of Alaska cruises, and instead of like an 8-night, they had a 9-night or an 8-night to a 7-night, and the price to stay in one of the Roy or Walt suites on the Disney ship was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, a couple $100 more, and we got an extra night. And so I was like, well, we'll switch over to Disney. And then we've had to punt that cruise out, and it was a real nail biter this year whether or not we we're going to get to stay in the Walt or Roy suite, because the prices had gone from, whatever they were pre-pandemic, like they were up like $20,000 for one room at the height of the season. And so we managed to find a room in the shoulder season while our son is still out of school, but most of the country's back in school, that fit within our budget. And so we booked it. But yeah, I would love to see Norwegian. I want to find a cruise out of Seattle. I'm also really fascinated by these mermaiden voyages that Virgin just announced, and one of which is going to be out of Seattle. So yeah,
it will May of 2026. That's all we know so far. We know that she's going up there. I actually have the date. She's doing a repositioning. It's kind of interesting. She's doing a repositioning from California up to Vancouver, not to Seattle. So she's going to go to Vancouver, then I guess just bop back down. By the way, we do now know, they have the Brilliant 4 pass, so you can take all 4 of them. That will be in a Seriously suite. That's $40,000 before port fees and taxes for all 4 for the cabin, which actually is not horrible because it's a Seriously suite.
Wait, is that for the cabin or per person?
Yeah, for the cabin.
Wow. Okay, that is a great deal. I saw it the other day, and I was like, $40,000 per person. That $40,000 for the cabin.
It's $40,000 for the cabin.
Yeah.
So, and it's a $10,000 deposit, and then you'll get a Seriously suite for all 4 of the cruises. So it's actually not a bad deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, if we were empty nesters, that's definitely something we would be looking hard at, I would say.
Right.
Oh, I want to take a world cruise. Like
but there's certain things that we have a kid who's in elementary school, and so we are limited on our vacation bandwidth. Let's put it that way. There's only so many times we can ask grandparents to watch him for like a week so we can go on a Virgin cruise like we're doing in October.
Somebody, I don't know if somebody I was talking to said they send the grandparents and the kid on another cruise while they're going on a cruise.
We would do that, except the problem is it's the school year issue, right? So it's that pesky school thing. So
our schools get out really late here in Seattle, and then they go out really late. Yeah, we don't get out of school until like the end of June, but they don't start school until Labor Day. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at Aaron. Aaron remembers something from 2019. That must have been good, Aaron. Yeah. Sour cream chocolate cake on the Royal Princess. How about that?
That sounds, Aaron, that sounds delicious. Yeah.
It's funny because
Grant. Hi. Go ahead.
It's funny because our first cruises were in 2007, 2008, but not with Disney. We were on Celebrity.
2008 and 2010. It was 2010.
But I actually saw a post from...
Actually, Brian had been on a cruise before, but it had been quite a few years. I had never been on a cruise before. So 2008 was my first cruise, and it was on Celebrity.
Yeah, I saw someone post the other day that they were on... It was a down market cruise line that Celebrity had sold one of their ships to, and they're like, oh, I'm on this ship. It's the former Celebrity Century. And I was like, oh, that was the first cruise ship I ever went on, was the Celebrity Century.
For us, it was the Caribbean Princess in 2006. So she was a new ship back then. She had come out in 2004, so she was a new ship back then, and our first 3 were Princess.
I think the first one that I went on, was the Infinity, the Celebrity Infinity, and
we
went on the Celebrity Millennium. I think were the 2.
But our first 2 cruises kind of ruined us, right? Because our first, I went on a couple of Caribbean cruises with my parents, but the first 2 cruises that we had together, one was a 14-night Panama Canal cruise, and the other one was a 15-night round trip from San Diego to Hawaii.
Nice.
So that was those long cruises.
We love the long cruises.
Nice. Right. I mean, even like a 7-night is short for us now. We're like, getting off the ship. So, we did 12 nights over the holidays on the Oceana Serena, which is only 650 passengers. The food was unreal. Just absolutely unreal. And I was like, this is the most relaxed I have felt in a very long time on a ship.
Love that.
Yeah, it was great. Betty liked my idea of sending the grandkids out with grandma and grandpa while you guys go have a good time on Virgin.
I love it. I think that if it worked out with the schedules, I would love that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I just keep hoping with Disney's expansion of their fleet that they might start to do some more interesting things.
More interesting itineraries.
Yeah, more interesting itineraries, some longer itineraries on occasion that aren't just repo cruises. So yeah.
Yeah, they absolutely could. Betty's asking when is the Panama Canal. The Brilliant Lady will sail March 21st through April 6th, 2026 from Miami to LA. So yeah, I brought those up. Let's just get that out of there. There we go. Except you're the grandma. Betty said it's the grandma. Oh, I'm so sorry, Betty.
I got you, Betty. I think she's actually happy with that because then she gets to go on a cruise with her grandkids. She's just not going to get to go on Virgin Voyages. She's going to have to go on Disney or Royal or something. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's a good deal, Betty. Yeah. I think so.
Good deal. It's a good deal. So let's come back to Disney a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. So you mentioned Lighthouse Point. You're going on a media thing. What are we thinking? Are we excited about Lighthouse Point? What should we expect?
So I would say you need to, if you've been to Castaway Cay, you need to calibrate. This is Castaway Cay version 2. There's a lot of criticism today out in the community. Disney's been dribbling out more information about Lighthouse Point because the first cruises are coming up in June. There's a lot of folks who are being a little critical about it. It's not like a perfect day. Well, Disney never said it was going to be perfect day at Coco Cay. Not even close. So you should expect that it is more like Castaway Cay than anything else. I think you also have to set expectations. I think Disney's been pretty upfront that this is not going to be like a fully completed project when they start sailing to it. They're going to have the dining set up and cabanas will be available and the beaches will be ready to go. But they've been pretty clear. They've got like areas on the map marked for future expansion. I suspect that will be happening over time and in response to guest feedback about what they want and that sort of stuff. And so like the first iteration of it's going to be, it's kind of like, you're going into a new place and it's not fully finished. So I think people just need to like kind of calibrate their expectations. I'm excited to go for one reason and one reason only. I am so thankful they're giving us another private island destination because Castaway Cay will not be able to accommodate the volume of traffic that Disney's going to have with the Wish already online, the Treasure coming online, the Destiny coming online. Like those ships will not, there's no way to rotate them through in a way that Castaway Cay can support. And so they need another destination. I also think they've marked areas for expansion, just in my own view, because Castaway Cay has an expiration date on it. If it gets a low-laying Bahamian island, it will get covered by water at some point. And so I think they need another place to go. And I think the reason they've marked some areas for expansion isn't because the current setup can't support a Wish-class ship. I think it can. I think they're looking to the future to say we might need to put 2 Wish-class ships on this island at once, or a Wish-class and a Dream-class ship together, because Castaway just may not continue to be totally accessible to us over the, not in the next 5 years, but in the next 50 years, right? So, so I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see it. I just have calibrated my expectations accordingly. We're actually going to have a chance to. I'm going to visit on the media cruise, and then we're going back down. Actually, Sam's going to meet up with me in Florida about a week after that cruise disembarks, and we already had a back-to-back cruise on the Magic plan. So we'll be visiting Lighthouse Point 4 times in about 2 weeks on those cruises. And so I'm just excited to see what it's like and get all the experiences in. We've got some cabanas booked, which are usually hard to get on Disney. Nice. So we want to kind of see what that experience is like. But yeah, I would say the Disney community can be a little, what do you want to call it? They can
harsh.
A
little harsh.
They want everything new, but they don't want change. And so
I know.
Yeah, and
it's
so
impossible.
It's impossible for, like, I actually commented to somebody today, like, I can't remember the last time that DCL had an announcement that didn't just get picked to death. There's like, where did the excitement go in the room? Everything just left the room within the first 10 seconds. So I'm trying to maintain a level of excitement about this, and I'm pretty happy that Disney is giving us a second private island destination, and I think that there's a lot of possibility for it. And so,
Nice.
And I think that the renderings that we've seen, as well as some of the footage we've actually seen, that they've showed us stuff in construction and some overhead photos and things like that. I think it looks like it's going to be a beautiful destination. It's going to be very tasteful. They are going to really give a nod to the Bahamian culture, which I think is a wonderful thing. They're preserving a lot of natural habitat, natural land. They're going to have an area that locals can go to. It's not going to be the same area that the cruisers are going to be on, but they're making a beach that's fully accessible for the people who live there. They're going to be providing jobs to the local community. I think there's a lot of positives there.
Yeah.
And I will say there's going to be French fries on the menu. So this is an important thing for those who
when
don't
you got kids.
know. Well, and Castaway Cay does not serve French fries. You can only get French fries if you have, or if you pre-ordered an allergy-friendly
potato
meal.
chips.
I
So
don't remember that.
Yeah, so it's
Wow.
Lay's, but you get Lay's potato chips or like potato salad or like pasta salads, and all those things are good. But when I'm eating hamburgers and hot dogs, I want some French fries with them, right? So anyway, so French fries they just announced actually yesterday a bunch of different foods and a signature drink, and it all looks delicious. There's a snapper that they have, fish. And ribs, and so some things look very similar to what they serve on Castaway, but their new drink sounds delicious. It's like a rum pineapple smoothie with Dole Whip in it. I mean,
baby. Now you're
can't
talking.
go wrong there, right? So
I mean,
a lot of really good, yeah.
The big difference, just to sum it up for folks around Disney and some of the other Royal Caribbean most acutely, Disney is never going to build Perfect Day for a bunch of reasons, not the least of which is like Joe Rohde was the integral designer of both Castaway Cay and like a Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. And he believes, and Disney, I think, believes in a design aesthetic that blends in with the natural environment and promotes the natural environment. Second, they've made all these environmental commitments, so there's not going to be a freshwater pool because it's terrible for the environment. So like you're not going to get towering water slides and freshwater pools and DJs and all of that sort of stuff. They're much more about we're going to bring you to a pristine location. We're going to augment that location with the services one needs to have a nice, relaxing day and fun with kids.
Yeah,
and
it's a beach day.
That's it. That's it. So
I did see in the construction, I can't remember if it was in the videos, there's going to be something that looks like kind of a splash area playground thing that's on land, which is nice because at Castaway they don't really have that. And so that I think is going to be a nice addition. But like Brian said, we don't expect like ginormous water slides like you get at what do they call that, Hurricane Hurricane Bay at Coco.
It's weird. I was going to say I can't believe anybody would even expect Coco Cay, because when I saw it, it reminded me of Ocean Key from MSC, which is actually my favorite private island because it's a natural marine reserve, and that's what I like about it. And it looked like Disney was making a bigger Disney version of that, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, Disney's Island is about relaxation, which is my criticism of Coco Cay. Like, unless you pick one spot and stay there, you got to move around and fight for chairs and all of that sort of stuff, which, in Disney, there's always a place to sit for lunch. There's always a chair available in our experience. So, like, it's just different. Right. So, I mean, if you're looking for innovation, the innovation that they're doing is on their ships, not on their islands.
Right.
So,
yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And a lot of cool things coming on their ships. So, they've got 3 more in the hopper.
We've got 3 more. So Treasure's coming, the Destiny, well, actually the Adventure's right behind that, and then the Destiny. So, we got like 10 or so minutes left. Let's talk about that. So we got Treasure. What are we excited about? I know what I'm excited about, but what are we excited about on Treasure?
Brian is excited about the same things that you're excited about, Walter, which are I know he's excited about the Haunted Mansion bar, and he's also excited about the Periscope pub. I will say I'm actually more excited about Skipper Society because I love Jungle Cruise as the ride. I love all the puns. I'm really hoping that they go full on with the puns and everything. Like,
they better.
Yeah, like they do at Trader Sam's. Like, I just love that kind of atmosphere.
Yes.
So we're super excited about that. We think the Wish is a beautiful ship. But I think that a lot of people are really leaning into the adventure theming of the treasure and like really that
Yes.
resonates with them more.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
Wish is like the perfect ship for like a wedding because it has that like elegance and princess feel. But I can also understand why a lot of people lean more towards the treasure. I personally, I lean more towards the Destiny theming, the superhero and villains theming. To me, like Minnie in Hero Minnie in her, like to me that's like the perfect.
Ah.
You
So
left off the headliner on the treasure, though, the Coco restaurant that they're going
Oh,
to have.
the
Right?
Coco restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah, Mexican
Coke-
food at sea finally on Disney. other
Well,
than-
they have
I
it at
guess
the cantina.
Donald's
They
Cantina.
have it at the
is
Right,
cantina.
right, right.
Yeah,
but
but
only
yeah.
on the Wish. Yeah.
But
so,
Miguel is a real person.
yes,
Yes.
Miguel's going to be a face character, which will be
Yes.
nice. Instead of
Yes.
like at Disney's California Adventure, they've got like a Miguel puppet character for
Right.
the when they do the Day of the Dead, the Dia de los Muertos, celebration, and so
Right.
it will be definitely
I
different.
hope
It'll
they-
be really interesting.
I hope they replicate this on the Destiny. It's heroes and villains, so I'm hoping they have some big Hero 6 on the Destiny because they do have a face character playing. I'm forgetting the name of the character
Hero.
now. Hero,
Yeah.
Hero,
Yeah.
Hiro Hamada. They have a face character playing Hero in the parks with
At
Baymax.
California
yeah.
Adventure,
and so
Oh.
in San
yeah.
Francisco.
in San Francisco. Yeah, so I
That's
think that would be
cool.
really really fun to bring on to the ships. So yeah, there's the treasure we know the most about because her maiden's coming up will be on there. That's over
Right.
Christmas, which a lot of people are sort of upset about. But her maiden's coming up. We don't know
Yeah.
when the Destiny's maiden will be, but they have announced. I think they've announced 2025.
They said
at some
it was.
point.
They
Think so.
said 2025, and so we're predicting late 2025, but we don't know.
Yeah.
And we actually
when.
know nothing at this point about the adventure other than the name, which could mean that the adventure actually does come out after the Destiny.
Well, that's
we don't,
true.
We don't
That is a
know.
possibility,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't know yet.
Yeah.
And then we also know she's going to be ported out of Singapore, and that she's ginormous, and how many that
She
she's
is.
yeah ginormous by Disney standards, I should say. She can
Well, no.
hold. She could hold up to like 9,000-10,000 people, but it's only going to actually be
Right.
6,000 passengers. Disney decided, so they actually cut back.
Yeah.
On
Well,
what they
apparently in the
could.
Chinese market, they put like 4 people in every cabin.
Right.
Like
Oh,
that's
wow.
not unusual. So that's why it was like 9,000
Yeah.
originally.
Yeah.
I
now
think
Go
with,
ahead.
I think with the adventure, the one thing that we're sort of watching is whether it's a ship that caters solely to the Asian market, or whether it's a ship intended to bring people over from the U.S. and elsewhere
Right.
into Asia. Based on how Disney has done some other things of late, I'm suspecting it will be primarily in service of the Asian market. It is not going to be a ship
Yeah.
that you like go over and get to sail around and see Asia, from a as
Right.
a U.S. passenger. So.
Right, right. I kind of see it as an extension of how they do the parks, because the parks are built primarily for locals, and yet they just naturally attract all the Americans who want to come over and see them, right?
Yes.
Um,
Exactly. The diehard
now,
Disney
the-
fans.
The big question is now that ship was supposed to have, if not the largest, one of the largest casinos at sea in the original design.
Yep.
And that's huge for the Asian market. So what are the odds telling you? Will there be the first Disney casino or no?
Sam and I are split on this.
we're split on
so
this.
I'll give you my rationale in
Yeah.
a minute, and Sam can give you hers. But I say no casino. There will be no casino, and I say that because I think Disney is a brand that's slow to act in this kind of a space. I think they're going to be very protective. You're not going to see like Mickey and Minnie slot machines. So like, how do you theme this in a way that connects into the
Right.
Disney brand without it being Disney associated with gambling? And I think it's going to be really tough for them, and they don't have it on any other ship. They don't really have
Right.
the space to introduce it on any other ship. So it would really be about
Right.
making a brand decision for one ship in service of one market at this point, because I also don't
Right.
see them going to a shipyard and saying, build me 2 more adventures, because
no.
I think they're going to go to a shipyard and say, okay, I've got the next class of Disney ship that I want you to build that's
Right.
more in keeping with our branding philosophy. and that
Exactly.
sort of stuff.
Exactly.
So I say no, but Sam
Okay.
says
So my prediction has always been, yes, there will be a casino, but it will not be a large casino, and it would not have any Disney IP, and it would be tucked away in a way that you don't have to walk through it ever, right? So that, and that, so they basically, it would be sort of its like own space, that does not touch anything Disney in any way,
Right.
shape, or form. So that's been
Right.
my prediction, because the Asian market expects casinos on cruise ships.
They do.
I mean, most of the global market expects casinos on cruise
Yeah.
ships. It's really only, some U.S. based cruise lines, including Disney, and obviously like river cruising. So a lot of those
Right.
don't include casinos because of the places
Right.
that they travel to. So yeah, I mean, I have maintained the prediction that yes, there will be, but it will not be what it was supposed to be when that ship was the global dream.
Right. I'm kind of with you that I think there will, because it's so important to the Asian market. And we know that they've signed a 10-year lease. So that ship's going to be there for at least 10 years before it goes anywhere else. So I was kind of the same mind that it will be tucked away. There will be zero Disney IP associated with it. Now, it might have some kind of a fun Disney-esque name as you enter into it, but that'll be the extent of it. And it might even be something where, like, there's glass doors that's like completely closed. You can't even see it unless you walk in.
Scrooge McDuck's vault. That'll be the
Oh
name.
my God, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be
awesome.
great? Oh my
That should
God.
be really fun theming.
That would be really fun theming.
If they really themed it out, it would actually be really great. But we know that's definitely not going to happen.
That's the only IP they could tie with it, but they won't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say, I see this question. I can answer this really fast because Sam and I think, are of the same mind on this.
Okay.
It is.
Oh, I have like.
Well, I think my favorite ship for two adults without kids is the Disney Wonder. Especially if it's within your budget to sail concierge. The Wonder we think has the best offering in the fleet, right behind the Wish. But the Wish is the best ship we think for families.
Yeah.
I like the Wonder because it's smaller. It's been well maintained. It's a little newer than the Magic. It doesn't have some of the same systems issues that the Magic has experienced over time. But it is a fabulous ship, and the adult area on the Wonder, especially the adult pool area, is just absolutely one of my favorite in the fleet.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I really recommend that one.
I want to piggyback and say I agree with Brian. The Wonder is great and is probably the number one recommendation. But I would also give my second recommendation would be the Disney Fantasy, because the Disney Fantasy has fabulous adult nightlife spaces.
And Remy.
Actually, yeah, and it has Remy and Paulo, both two adult dining experiences.
Yeah.
And whereas the Wonder only has one, it only has Paulo as the adult dining experience. I will say, with one of the things I will say is I would not recommend the Wish for adult only, because the adult pool area is tiny and kind of out of the way. And so I mean out of the way in a bad way, not out of the way in a good way.
Right.
And while I think it's the best ship for families with young children, and I think it's a great ship if you want to get married on, I don't think it's the best ship for adults only cruising. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So that's our recommendation for sure.
Fabulous. And Aaron always comes up with a lot of great questions.
Yeah. Great questions.
One of our great clients, can't wait to meet him one of these days on a ship. Guys, man, we've already flown through an hour. Can you believe that?
That's amazing.
Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun with it.
And of course, I'm a travel agent. I know you guys use a travel agent. Why don't you give a shout out? Who's your travel agent?
Sure. We have an agency sponsor for our show. It's My Path Unwinding Travel, and got great things to say about them. And if you wanted to connect with them for whatever reason after maybe listening to some of our shows and some of the agents from there that we've had on our shows, you can always head over to mypathunwinding.com/DCL Duo. So yes.
And I want to give
Absolutely.
a plug for using a travel agent
Oh,
in general.
100%.
Because one, they can sit on wait on hold for a long time when then you don't have to. So that's my number one reason. Two is if you're giving the cruise line your money anyway, why not let some of that money go to a small business owner? So that's why I'm not going to recommend using Costco Travel. I'm going to recommend using somebody like Walter or somebody else who is a small business owner.
Yeah.
And I really think that they can do the research. If you don't have the time to do the research on, what's the best fit for you in terms of stateroom or which cruise line and what itineraries and things like that, they can really help you maximize your enjoyment of your cruise and minimize how much research you have to do yourself.
And don't just go with the agent that gives the most onboard credit, because a lot of times it's covering a whole host of sins in the background that you don't know about. So
Yes.
people like Walter, people like our show sponsor, they're really good people, knowledgeable people. So I highly recommend
thank
using
you.
a travel agent. So yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, you talk about being on the phone with Virgin Voyages. Their dining reservations open up at midnight Eastern
Yeah.
time. And so last Saturday, I was up until 3 in the morning
Yeah.
booking 25 cabins of dining reservations because the booking engine kept crashing.
Yeah, let your travel agent do that for you. You don't have to do that.
I can tell you,
Yeah.
Disney technology is not that great, so travel agent is fantastic.
Although we don't mind the midnight booking windows because we're on the West
Oh, yeah.
Coast. And
I'm on a
Right,
year
it's
over
right.
9
You guys,
p.m.
yeah, your
We have-
agent's got it good if she's on the
Yeah.
West Coast. So.
Yeah, we have a difficult time with the advanced dining reservations at the parks because those are like 6 a.m.
Oh,
Eastern.
yeah.
And so for us, that's at 3 a.m. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow. I'm going to pop up all these nice little
Yeah.
comments. We're getting a lot of great comments. Thank you guys. Y'all are amazing. Appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. I love what I do. I hope it shows. This was not my intended career. My second career, I used to be in television, film, and marketing, but we have jumped in with both feet. Rebecca and I are having a great time. So I think it brings me even more joy to send people out on vacation than it did, creating all those shows and things, because there's that immediacy, right? There's that connection and all of that. So
Nothing
really
warms our
awesome.
heart more than when we hear from a listener about how we help them with their vacation. Like, we aren't even travel agents, so we're just doing it for the good of the community. And I will tell you, when those emails come in, like, I'm just like, oh my God, like, you listen to us, fantastic, and B, we had something helpful to say. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Awesome.
that.
Awesome. Well, this hour went really fast, folks. I'll tell you one last time. We are Where's Walter Travel, your independent travel advisor, helping you with your cruise, land, luxury, or expedition. You'll find us at where'swaltertravel.com or down in the comment. Brian and Sam are DCL Duo. You will find them everywhere. Be sure to subscribe to them, support them. They give so much great information about Disney, and now starting to expand. Pretty soon we're going to hear about Virgin Voyages. I can't wait.
Yes, absolutely. We're very excited. Thank
So,
you
guys-
so much for having us on the show, Walter. We
Yes.
really appreciate it. And we've got to get you on a Disney cruise and
Yes.
coming on our show soon. Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, wherever you are in this amazing world, thank you so much for tuning in, and have an amazing evening, everybody. Good night.